writing so you can watch everyone around you die. Think, Mark.
That's what I need you to do, my fellow writers. Think as we go in this 5-part series on my YouTube channel on how to write your novel, from the brainstorming portion all the way to the manuscript portion. Let's get into it. Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Shadi and I'm just a Black novelist in Japan, here to help you and give you some writing techniques and help you to write your heart's contents. You can pick your poison and watch along or just use me as background noise. Either is okay, please. If you want to clean your room, go ahead, go ahead. Just be sure to like, comment, and subscribe at the end of the video if I did help you in some way, shape, or form. You can catch my previous video on trusting the reader up above or somewhere on the screen. And you can also catch me on TikTok since I'm officially going to start doing this properly. I'm so bad with SNS. Like, I don't even really do SNS so much, so this is gonna be a fun journey to go on. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and get into brainstorming. First of all, what the heck is brainstorming when it comes to writing in the writer's room? I'm gonna give you the definition. Let me go ahead and look this way. I'm sorry, my laptop is like over there. Brainstorming, as stated by the Writing Cooperative, brainstorming in the context of writing novels is the creative, often non-linear process of generating, exploring, and recording story ideas, characters, settings, and plot points to build the foundation of a fictional world. They also said it's Draft zero, the act of laying the groundwork, exploring possibilities, and solving plot problems before or during the formal writing process. I thought that was a pretty good definition for brainstorming, so I hope you can kind of understand what I'll be covering in this video from here on out. I personally find that there are hundreds of reasons people usually struggle with brainstorming. And brainstorming and struggling with it also goes into another video that I'll link somewhere on the screen about writer's block. I think I did that like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I don't remember. The 2 reasons that I typically find or that I hear about when it comes to brainstorming and not really having any ideas for it are, for the first one, not having any new ideas. And I'm gonna have a whole video over here. I recorded it maybe a week ago. My memory is so scattered right now, but a video on how to create new and interesting ideas or something unique that you would actually like to write about. The other point and reason I want to say that people struggle with brainstorming is that they honestly just feel like their ideas are bad. And I feel like there's no, well, I'm not gonna say there are no bad ideas. Like, there are some things I wouldn't read, but you know, a lot of times they feel like it's that the idea is bad or their skills are bad or just there's 100 reasons. And I'm here to help cure that, to take away those reasons or excuses for why you may feel that your writing or brainstorming is sucky. That was not a good way to word it. Anyways, let's move on. Now, you know I have some statistics for y'all. Let's go ahead and get into them. I'm gonna direct my attention this way to look at the statistics. So, studies have shown that free writing and journaling can increase idea generation by up to 40 to 50%. So if you basically feel like you have no ideas, it's not really uncommon. It's not also saying that you're not creative or anything. It's just like you probably need to change your environment, change your method of writing, change how you write. Like there's so many reasons. Anyways, let's go on to the second statistic. Put it up here. Studies show that when you're emotionally connected to an idea, your work becomes more original. So an idea that basically feels like it's flatlining or not original or something like that, basically you may feel like that because you don't have an attachment to what you're writing. So those were just some statistics that may be helpful to you if you're in the brainstorming process, or if you're just like, oh, well, I'm trying to think of an idea for something to write for my next novel or writing or magazine edit or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and go into the tips now, and they're going to be, well, there's going to be just one, but one nice little psychology experiment for us to get into. So I'm so excited. Again, if you know me, my bachelor's degree is in psychology, and then my master's MFA is in creative writing. So I'm so happy when I can like mix the 2 worlds. It's a good time here. It's a really good time here. And if you like psychology too, you will love it. Anyways, let's go ahead and go into the first tip. I've said this 100 times. Like, I know I have, and I know I sound like a broken record. But I think it's so important to constantly be inspired, seek inspiration, and be curious about anything and everything in the world. Now, I'm not going to do it from here on out, but you will be able to see it on my TikTok for when it comes to inspiration and motivation. But I personally think that having that curiosity, when you have your eyes just open and you're open-minded and open and willing to seeing things or getting inspiration from things, shoot, you will have a brainstorming, you'll have an idea quicker than if you were like, oh, I need to sit down with a pen and write. Like you don't need to really force yourself. There's inspiration all in the world, all in the world. That's also why I had the Miracle World video up, because I was hoping to inspire some people. I will continue to post about some things in Japan if I feel like there's something inspiring or something that's, I don't know, beautiful that I can show you. But there's a reason why I wanted to post something like that, you know? Inspiration, being curious about everything. Like, I'll get into it at the end or closer to the end when I talk about my own novels and how all of those came with the brainstorming, the idea to make them. But you'll see what I'm talking about. But basically, I'm just saying you need to be open to anything and everything. I hope my content serves as a little bit of inspiration. I hope you see inspiration when you are driving your car out in the world or walking somewhere. Inspirations lurk around the corner, literally everywhere. I do find that I'm very easily inspired, and I do think that comes from not just stimulation in my daily life. I have said it before, but I basically work every day. So whether it's 1 hour a day or 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, I'm outside working or doing something for my blogging job or whatever you have it. That being said, I'm always seeing something. I'm always being technically overstimulated, honestly. Overstimulated when it comes to like sounds, touches. Like, oh, when you're on the train in Japan in the morning time, especially during summertime, you're gonna know all about the smells, the touches, life. But that's just to put that out there. But I'm gonna go ahead and start with the psychology experiment. We're gonna watch this in real time together because I haven't seen this video yet. And I'm gonna butcher his name, their name, but I think it's Hyder and Simmel, the Hyder and Simmel study. And I wanted you to tell me if you feel any inspiration or what do you see when you look at this. I'm gonna give my thoughts and opinions after I watched this video with you. It's only gonna be like a minute long. And then if you want, you can comment it below or keep it to yourself. Anything is okay, but let's go ahead and watch it. I'm gonna scoot to the side a little bit. Oh. And then I am going to put it up. Okay, wait, did I see that correctly? Something happened really... Hi! Hi! So I had the mic attached to me. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but I can't wait until I can move because always someone comes to ring the doorbell like a solicitor and I really just don't like that. Can't stand it. Can't stand it. Anyways, let me make sure I can gather my thoughts about what we just saw. played back some of it to make sure I fully understood. So I feel like, I know there are 100 ways to interpret this, but I felt like what I just saw was an abusive home. And basically, the bigger triangle is the man or husband or whatever you want to call it. And they grew up in an abusive home. And so they only know their ways. There's someone that comes in. Let me go back a little bit. Okay, so there's someone that comes in. Their child is also maybe, oh God, where am I going with this? Basically, a woman and a child she had from a previous relationship come in thinking that they can make him better and that it's okay, but then things turn for the worse. The child gets scared, and at some point, the husband comes in and like maybe kidnaps the child and takes him somewhere where the mother can't get to him. I guess I'm picturing the son, I don't know. So he kind of holds him hostage and says, I'm doing this for the better of you. Eventually the mother comes in and finds the little boy, and then they run. Basically, they escape, and they're so happy, they're rejoicing. And then they run to escape. Eventually, they're able to be free. They go, and then the man is just there by his lonesome, and he starts to basically destroy everything. Okay, so that was my story, basically, if I summarize what I was thinking and feeling as I watched it. You may have had the same idea, you may have felt something else, like it's a school bullying situation, I don't know. But this exercise this psychology study was created by Haider and Simmel in 1944. And basically this animation that I had up on the screen at some point, I don't know if it's still there, is to show you that the human mind works to make stories out of anything and everything. It goes to show that people can create even when it's just random shapes and objects moving around on a screen. There is no story technically. It's just shapes on a screen. And yet you're able to create and think about a storyline for something like that. So I do hope you can remain open to inspirations all around. Make up a story from something you see or experience. I often listen to music, and I'm going to get into this more when I talk about my experience with brainstorming novel ideas, but you'll see. But I really hope you enjoyed this study. Again, love mixing psychology in this, but this video is dragging on and I don't want to keep you guys here, so I'm gonna move on. My second tip is the character first brainstorming. Now, what do I mean by this? Usually it goes like this. The writer, when they're trying to brainstorm an idea, it goes character, and then they think about the plot, and then they think about the setting. So in a way, it kind of works like that for some people, but when it comes to the character first brainstorming, I would like you to think more setting, then character, then plot. Does that make sense? If you really want to break it down simply, I like to think of it as you can ask yourself, do you want a strong character or a weak character? That's actually what I've been thinking about for a novel that I'm going to write. Probably next, I'm not sure yet, but do you want strong or weak character, or even a neutral character? Which one are you trying to write for? Another question I was thinking of was, hold on, I wrote it down. What is happening around them? I would like to think of it as, is their setting or environment within their control? Are they willingly in this situation in a place where they want to be? Or is it a case where they're in a place where they don't want to be? You know, that one question, whatever I just said, will determine a lot and determine really the trajectory of your story. Strong or weak character, and then are they in a place where they want to be, or are they just neutral about their saying like, oh, I'm here, I'm chilling, I'm cool, whatever. Those are just the two main things I'd like for you to think about if you are trying to start from a character-based kind of way to brainstorm for your novel. As you start really building and working around it, you can let the problems that they have start to fester and build and really propel the story forward. The third point, I do kind of use this, and I know some people do too, but it's really up to you. It's the wound method, or wound story method, however you want to call it. You don't need to start necessarily with a plot, but you can start with something like a problem that the character has. Think of a person who has a stalker. The main character has a stalker. The main character wants more money. The main character is addicted to drugs. Like there's so many ways you can spin it. But if you're thinking, oh, I want to write about a character who's being stalked, okay, there you go. You have a story idea right there. I am going to give a very quick example here. I have a story idea about a girl, weak character, who is not down for money, but she's like, I want a new job. And then a job opportunity lands in her hands, and it's one where she has to completely kind of resign her life, resign her world, if she decides to take the job. I will get more into that probably in another video when I actually decide if I'm gonna write this novel. I will probably write it next year after I finish one or two of my other ideas. I don't know yet. I got like 1,000 different ideas. Like, brainstorming is never a problem for me when it comes to story ideas because I have like a log. And I hope you have a log too of story ideas that just keep beating ya, getting ya. All right, I'm moving on. Regardless of whatever the problem is that the character has, you're gonna let that problem really spur the novel and spur the brainstorm process of, okay, this girl has a stalker. Is she going to try to find out who her stalker is? How is the stalker going to affect her? Are the police going to help her? There's so many different questions you can ask through that to create conflict, internal and external, if you really need it. So many ways that you can have a character arc where maybe she's like a feeble girl that doesn't know anything about self-defense, but then she starts taking self-defense classes and really learn how to kick butt. And then she meets this really hot guy that is like her instructor, and I'm like making the story for you. I'm getting like all worked up thinking about it, but she makes a friend either on the police team or, you know, someone that'll help her figure out who this stalker is, you know, like, yeah. And then to add in the like emotion to it, she can start falling for the defense guy that was teaching her how to kick butt. But then somehow the stalker, I don't know, shoots him or hurts him or something. Then she's like, you know, I don't think I can do this. It's too dangerous for us to be together. Okay, you see how easy it was for me to brainstorm that? Like I think I have ADHD. I don't know. I'm not gonna think about it too much. I'm just gonna keep going with it. Anyways, if it comes to a wound or a problem or a conflict that you're brainstorming off of, this is a really great way to just pick up momentum. You see how easily I did that in like 1 minute? You can do it too. Probably better than me. Definitely better than me. I'm not that smart. You are. Okay, brainstorm by scene. That's gonna be my 4th point. Brainstorm by scene. And I'm so happy to tell you about this specific one because I have a very good example for you. So when I say brainstorm by scene, what I mean is I want you to just imagine one very vivid scene that you desperately want to write. That is what happened to me. And that's how my first series that I'll ever write most likely will be from this song that I'm about to play in a second. Let me actually pull it up on my handy dandy phone. Okay, I think it's called Silver Lining. Oh, this song gives me chills every time I hear it. I'm gonna let it play a little bit. I don't want to get copyrighted. I don't know if I'll get copyrighted, so I'm only going to play little bits of it. Isn't that the most beautiful cello you've ever... Oh, chills. Okay, wait for it, wait for it. Okay, I'm gonna stop it there because it got to the part that I really want to talk about. So there's a reason these dolls are here too. This is Morgana and this is Oz. Around 2 or 3 years ago, I was really obsessed with this webtoon, hence why I have the dolls for them. Oh, these things were so expensive and shipped to Japan too. These were expensive, but I love supporting creators even if I don't have the funds for it. Anyways, I was really obsessed with this novel, and I've always really just loved witches and magic and all that stuff. If you can't see this side of my room, but it's very witchy over there. I was really obsessed with it, and then I heard this song right here, and then I just suddenly got this vivid image of a vampire and a witch dancing in something extremely chaotic that I've never seen any other novel with mythical creatures is gonna happen when you hear the beat drop or the melody change up, something very extreme is gonna happen. But I wanted a scene with them dancing, but I needed a situation where these two characters, the witch and the vampire, that hate each other, come together for this one dance. And baby, I got it. And I can picture everything where the witch is so angry at him that she's like seething, she's ready to like kill him and hurt everyone around her because she's seeing red at this point. And then she has to dance with him. There are so many ideas you're probably thinking of for this story, but I promise you none that you're thinking of what I'm thinking. You'll find out. Maybe in 2 or 3 years when I actually write the series. But imagine, I was so obsessed with this. This is a witch, this is a vampire. And I heard this song and immediately I got this beautiful idea for a witch and a vampire story. And then from that, I just kind of worked backwards and forwards. And I actually wrote the first 3 chapters. What I'm going to do is put up the chapters so that you can kind of see the beginning. Like, it's going to be a journey to get to that dance scene. But you can see how I got the idea. And then I just like worked kind of backwards of, okay, how can I get to this scene? Okay, the witch is going to have this problem and this. And then she's going to meet the vampire and da-da-da-da. I'm going to put it up. I'm going to have a link here or in the description box. Please check it if you're interested in reading the first 3 chapters of what will be Adjacent Spells. Wait 3 years for the full thing, but you can check out the first, not 100 pages. I think it's only 50 actually. It's been a while since I've checked it, but you see what I'm saying. Be inspired by a scene that you have in your head or a song that you hear that makes you want to create a scene and just build off of it, branch off of it like a tree. You can do it. I'm also secretly hoping this will be one of my Netflix deals in the future. Mark my words, because this is going to be a good series. I promise you that. And my 5th and final tip is just about the boring stretch idea. You guys have probably heard about it, but basically it's you take something that's bland and boring, like a girl moved to a city, and then you just add in the sprinkle, the seasonings, the problems or whatever, just basically starting with a trope or something that is generic in itself or in and of itself, and then you just go from there to make it not. What you can typically do with this kind of problem or method for brainstorming is, you have a boy or a girl or just a generic thing, depending on what you want to write, and then you do just one thing to make it interesting where, I kind of said it before, but the girl hates the city she lives in, or the girl just moved to the city she's in, or the girl disappears from the city completely for one reason or another. Like, just add in some seasoning to make the macaroni taste really good. It just gets you to think on a different level. Like, you can say, oh yeah, well, I have this boring idea that everyone else is writing, but then you can add in more depth and more detail and more elaborate stuff basically to make it what it is and make it a really unique story. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You have your own voice. Only you have that voice. Use it. No one can tell a story like you. I can't tell a story like you. Only you can tell a story like you. So do it. I don't know why I looked to the side. Now, I'm gonna give you a very quick breakdown of how I did the brainstorming process for 5 ideas. Basically, as I said, I'm very inspired by things that go on around me, and I am a very emotional writer. So if I am sad or upset or heartbroken, pure gold for writing, baby. Turn that pain into gain. But anyways, I'm going to tell you about the first one, Blood and Water, which will be published in 2027. First came about after a terrible conversation where I was almost in tears after my brother and sister basically went out of their way to just, I don't want to say try to humiliate me, because it's not possible through just a phone call, for me at least, but it's like there's a kind of, I'm gonna say ex-brother. My ex-brother and my sister basically just went out of their ways to try to make me feel bad when I hadn't talked to them in months for obvious reasons. I'm not gonna get into the family dynamics, but anyways, that conversation switched to me writing a revenge novel about getting revenge on family. The second novel, For You, I was super obsessed with this webtoon I am gonna put up here. And I've always really liked the idea of assassins and killers, like how did you say Dengeki Daisy? I used to be obsessed with that in middle school. I did like watching Leon. There was this other one, I think it's Daisy, a Korean movie that was about a assassin. Ooh, that movie was sad. I remember crying when I watched that. Point is, I really like assassin killing kind of stuff. If the character is a badass female character, I'm even more for it. So that being said, For You came from my love from this webtoon, which I cannot remember the name of right now. The Nanny? It's not called The Nanny. Detective Nanny? I'm sorry, the name is slipping me. I was obsessed with it last year. But my obsession came from that and thinking, what if a assassin had to parade around as a maid for some time to protect someone? There you go. The third idea, well, adjacent spells, which I just talked about being inspired by the song, and I am going to say the name of the song, sorry. It's called Silver Linings featuring Amy Norris by Hendy Yamps Studios. You can find that song on YouTube. I am going to link it down below. Please support them, like the video, tell them I sent you. But that's how adjacent spells will eventually come to be, most likely after 2 years, after I finish some other novel ideas I have. I don't have a title yet, but I do have one idea that I'm just going to call In Time for now, about a girl who gets kind of thrown back into the past, and she doesn't know why, because she was content with her life, or so she thought, and she basically has to undo some messes or learn the hard way that you can't undo some messes. This idea actually came after I thought about how much I detest the idea of time loop or time travel stories, ironically enough. How do you go from not liking one to now you have this idea that will probably be your 4th novel? Well, what had happened was basically I was thinking about it a long time, and I'm like, all of them are the same. And I said that because, or I was thinking it because I was on Webtoon and they just have hundreds and hundreds of time loop stories or time traveling stories, or the girl got thrown into her best friend's novel, or I'm tired. Like I read a few of them. There's one I'm actually really obsessed with. I mentioned it in a previous video. But I was thinking they all just kind of sound the same. And then I thought, what if there was a different kind of one? Which got me to thinking about In Time, if I call it that, about a neutral character, kind of weak, mostly neutral, and about how she basically gets sent back in time and she has to piece together a murder that happened on top of a lot of stuff that she didn't realize that went on 10 plus years ago, basically. Let's go ahead and move on to the 5th one. And I don't have a title for this yet. I just thought of this idea like last week. I don't know why. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but I was just thinking, I think, what if there was someone who was professionally paid to... Wait, okay, I know what I was thinking. Sorry, it just hit me. I was thinking about how people get paid to basically be a wedding date. You know how like, oh, well, I don't want to go to a wedding alone, so I will pay you $200 an hour if you'll be my wedding date. I'm pretty sure something like that exists. Don't quote me. I've only really read about it once, and I've never actually heard about it in person. If someone would pay me to be their wedding date, I would. Anyways, basically, I was thinking the idea, but I was thinking about what if I flipped the idea? What if someone was paid to be a professional mourner? Maybe for one reason or another, I'm gonna have the main character go through a variety of different situations as she tackles this job and what it means to truly be happy. But what if she had the profession of being a professional mourner, where she would show up to funerals and she would cry? It's just an idea right now that, again, I came up with like 2 weeks ago, but I already have so many ideas. And I know we're talking about brainstorming, but I'm mainly using this as like a brainstorming of ideas for the novel, which I have. I know I already talked about it, and I know I sound like a broken record, but there are some people that are new to this channel and that don't know or haven't seen the past videos, which is why I do think for the first step, at least brainstorming the idea to get you to actually writing the novel is the most important part. So I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. All of this really just goes to say, if you are struggling with brainstorming an idea and you really want to write, just go outside and get inspired first. Look around your room and get inspired. Again, you guys cannot see this side of the room, but it is full of all kinds of stuff that maybe would inspire you. I don't know. But with that said, this video is dragging on. It's been almost 38. No, it's 38 minutes now. I'm gonna go ahead and close the video down. Now that I've given you some writing techniques for the writer's room, please start your writer's journey. You have no excuse, sir or madam, or whatever you identify as. You can check out my writing playlist above or somewhere on the screen, I don't know. And you know, for research and statistics, they're always listed in the description box below. I know I'm pointing at my hoo-ha, but you know what I mean. You can always find them below and you can fact check me or whatever. Again, please check out. Dang, the train is so loud. I'm sorry. Just please fact check me if you want to. I don't know. For more behind the scenes and for more information and techniques that, and for me just being goofy, you can catch them on TikTok too, now that I have actively started my writer's TikTok. I promise I will be posting on there more. Other than that, you know, I just really hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching my video. I should probably start getting my day fully started. It's already 3 p.m. Oh, if you liked my video, you can catch me on Saturday as I go to the second part of this 5-part series where I talk about outlining, and there's nothing that gets me hotter and heavier than a good outline. Ain't no man, you know, this is why I'm single. Let me stop saying that. I'm so excited to talk about outlining. I feel like I'm the queen of outlining and I can tell you how to set up your page. Should I make a template? You know, if I have time, maybe I can even make a template. I love talking about the writing process. It gets me so giddy. Anyways, again, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it. Just make sure to stay happy, safe, healthy, and always, say it with me, write your heart's comments. Bye.